Hello, I'm John Rushing, the emotions expert. And today we're going to talk about living life your way. It may sound a funny topic, and you may think it's, well, I'm living life my way anyway. But quite often people write to me and say, life's okay. I'm not enjoying life. Things are going reasonably well, but there's something missing. And in a very short time, it comes to quite evident that what is missing is them, their own inimitable input into their life and who they are and what they are doing. What has happened is that they've come, say, for an example, they've come from a nice family, a good family, nothing major, but a good family, and they've been well educated, well fed, well looked after, all these things ticking the boxes. And they've been to uni or they've had some kind of vocational treatment, vocational education, or something of that nature. And now they're living life, they're earning an income, but there's something missing in all of that. And quite often in that, there's an element whereby they're just doing it robotically. They're doing this because they can do it. They're doing that because they can do it. They're doing something else because if they don't, they won't earn any money, and so on and so forth. And it just goes on like that. And reality is that if you don't actually make a definite change yourself for something you really, really want, then it's not going to happen. Very rarely do things happen by default, which are in your favor. Sometimes they do. You can get promotions or opportunities arising. But at the same time, token, you've got to actually go for these yourself. You've got to walk the walk and talk the talk. You've got to actually apply for these. You've got to put your mindset behind them so that your mindset is actually at one and harmonious with what you're doing and your future plans and your future progress and how you'd like to see yourself in a number of years. Because if you don't have these pictures in your mind, nobody else will. Nobody else understands what you've got. You may talk to your friends and your family and say, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. But that's all the information they have. And they can keep that information, and 5 years down the line, they can say, oh, remember you once said to me, I'd like this, I'd like to be this, I'd like to do that. But that's it. In between those 5 years, what did you want to do? Have things changed? Have you modified your ideas? Have you modified where you want to go? Have you modified what you want to do? Has life changed quite a bit for you? Have you had a few ups and downs in life, which has actually rendered life slightly differently from where it was before? Have things moved on? Have people died who you loved and wanted to sort of be near you? You know, lots of things. Have you had an illness? Have you had a financial problem? Have you had a mental health problem? All of these things affect where you want to go from where you are. And if you don't actually rectify them yourself, then nobody else can do it for you because they just don't know. They may give you saged advice as to what to do and where to go, but it's a general advice because they, even if they know your little quirks and bits and pieces, they still don't know how you think. And it's important that you put into practice what you're doing, what you're thinking, and how you're thinking. And it's nothing major. You don't have to sit down and stare at the ceiling in your own bedroom for nights on end, pontificating about science and life and places beyond or anything like that. You just got to keep in your mind what you want to do, what you would ultimately like to do, and keep it very real. There's nothing wrong with fantasizing where you would like to go and what you'd like to do. That can be quite cathartic in many ways because it can take you beyond yourself, and therefore it gives you possibilities which you may not have otherwise thought of. But by the same token, you've also got to be real because you've got to put something into practice which has a substantial base, something which has a reality to it, something which you can grasp and move forward yourself. You can put your energy into it. You can put your thought process into it. You can put your time into it, and you can put your love into it. Because if you're doing something without love or desire inside yourself, then it's not going to really come to fruition. It's just going to be sort of a jovial thing you're doing for the sake of it and putting your pen to paper and just talking about it, and it's going to be a forever sort of ethereal concept in your mind. You've got to be the person that says, okay, look, I'm all right at life. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's okay. I could be an awful lot worse as well. This is what it is, but I really would like to do this and this and this. And I've seen a few people doing jobs similar to what I would like to do. And I really, really like what they do. And I don't necessarily want to be like them, but I want to be like me doing what they're doing in my way, because that way is the reality of the whole thing. If you want to be like somebody else, you'll never be like somebody else, because that's somebody else. It's never going to be you. So you've got to put yourself into that position where you are that person who is going to do what you want to do. When you've discovered what it is, what you want to do, then that is the time to actually look and see how you can move forward, how you can make everything proliferate from where you are to where you would like to be, how you can make that move. Do you have to change your location? Do you have to change your job? Do you, in fact, have to leave your job and start somewhere else again? Do you have to get some more training? Do you need more advice? Do you need to be in another situation? Do you need to get other qualifications? Do you need to buy any equipment or clothes or whatever? All of these things you've got to put into your mind to make it viable, to make everything come clean. Because then when you do that, you can actually go for your checklist in your mind. Well, I've got this, I've got that, I've done this, I've done that. All I need is this now, and I can do that. That's quite easy to do because I really want to do it. So that's not a great problem. Don't make things a chore. If you want to make things a chore, it's going to drag you back. And eventually you'll get fed up of it, and then you won't do it at all, or you won't do it proficiently. And then you'll start whinging and moaning. Oh, well, I've tried this and it didn't work. Well, I don't know, it's going to be expensive, and all of these kind of things. This is all mumbo jumbo. This is all excusing your way out of where you want to go because it seems too much like hard work. And if it seems too much like hard work, the chances are deep down, it's an idea you would like to go into, as opposed to something you really desperately would like to go into, because you're backing it up mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's all there. It's concurrent. There's a synergy between the whole thing, and it's there for you. Do something which is all about yourself, and don't go around telling everybody, because if you go around telling people, it tends to sort of lose its strength. By all means, tell your best mate or one of your parents, but only tell your parents if they're not going to tell everybody else, because they have a habit of doing that. They have a habit of repeating, oh, well, so-and-so, he wants to do this and this, or she wants to do this, and they make a mess of it as well, and they get the wrong end of the story. So keep it to yourself. And if people ask you, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Just make something up. Just say something just to keep them quiet, because the more people that start interfering with your pathway, where you want to go and where you want to do, the more they will put their 10 pennyworth in, 10 cents in, or what else. And it won't be reality then. It'll be all about based on what they think, and what they think will be based upon their own failings, their own fears, their own ignorance, their own lack of knowledge, their own lack of understanding, and all of these kind of things. So it'll be a bit of a superficial input, and some people just can't shut up. They have to tell you what they think just for the sake of it. Well, you don't really need that kind of advice or information or support. You want something more wholeheartedly, something more substantial. And that's where you will come into your own, because once you keep these things to yourself, it'll be something which you're giving yourself benefit from, something which you'll be giving yourself some upliftment from, because you'll feel good within yourself, in that sort of pit in your stomach. You'll feel really good that you're getting some real good feedback from what you're doing. You'll feel a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment, and all of these things. So living your life is very, very possible, and it will change as you get older, as you mature, as you have more experiences, as you have a few more failings and a few more successes in your pathway. You will actually modify what you want to do. So by keeping it to yourself, you won't get people saying, oh, I thought you wanted to do this, now you're doing that, why are you doing this? And all those superficial stupidity things that people come up with just to appease their ignorance, just to using you as a point of information, a reference, or something of that nature. Do it for yourself. And then when you've achieved it, you can tell people what you've achieved. You don't have to tell them the pathway and the route and where you went and the sleepless nights and the tears and the cold sweats and everything else. You can just say, I've done this and I've achieved it. And it's been worthwhile because now I'm reaping the rewards. So live the life you want to do. It doesn't matter what that life is, whether it's a fairly low life or some kind of high flying life. It's entirely up to you. It's what you want to do in life. It's what you want to do with your life. And provided you're happy, and that is the $64,000 sort of answer, I'm happy, then it's all worthwhile. Don't do anything that makes you unhappy in any aspect of your life, because it's never, ever worth it. You may have to do one or two little bits here and there which don't make you happy, but that's just a means to an end. But by and large, if it makes you happy, do it and live life your way.